Okay, overshadowed by the GOP candidates grinding down the last hours till Michigan and by Senators Clinton and Obama swiping at each other over race was a very interesting piece written by Congressman Barney Frank in the Financial Times today. Perhaps he was thinking about those tens of thousands of Citigroup workers who may be let go, or perhaps he was trying to score points with folks worried about their mortgages or credit card payments. But either way, Congressman Frank sought to clarify some key differences between Democrats and Republicans on the role of government in preventing future subprime messes and generally reducing the income gap. He wrote in today's FT, quote, Democrats believe that government's role as regulator is essential in maintaining confidence in the integrity and fairness of the markets, and we believe that economic growth alone is not enough to reverse unacceptable levels of income inequality. So what does that mean for Wall Street and Main Street? Joining us now, Republican strategist Kellyanne Conway and Democratic strategist Julie Roginsky. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
Okay, so Julie, first of all, what do you make of Congressman Barney Frank's op-ed in the Financial Times today, really drawing that distinction between Democrats and Republicans and launching on to the hot topic, you know, in the economy debate, the subprime? He's basically saying that had we had more regulation, which we wouldn't have had this mess.
Well, he's right. I mean, the problem is that the markets were totally unregulated when it came to subprime lending, and we see what we have now. We have a bunch of people getting loans they were not qualified for, a bunch of banks going into a lot of trouble because of that, Citibank being one of them. But it's about time that the Democrats actually put out their own stimulus package. Hillary Clinton just did that. Barack Obama did that as well. And now you have the president putting out his stimulus package. You're really going to see competing sort of a stimulus war almost going on in Washington, and it's good that Barney Frank, who's the chairman of the Financial Services Committee, is out there sounding the drum for Democrats and saying, look, we do need government intervention. We had no government intervention when it came to the subprime mess, and look what we have. We have the economy about to be in recession as a result of the fact that we've got absolutely no regulation of this market.
Kellyanne, a lot of people on the other side, though, say, hey, you know, this is a free and open market. No one forced those people to sign on the documents during closing for a home that they couldn't afford.
Well, greater government intervention is rarely the solution, particularly for economic policy. Look what happened to the Democrats, like Barney Frank in Congress, after Bill Clinton raised taxes in 1993. He upped the marginal rates, and they lost the Congress the next year. People respond to free market policies. The average middle-class household right now is part of the so-called investor class. They have investments in 401ks, pension plans. It's not just that their house is their greatest asset. It's that they actually have started to invest money as a proxy for savings. I bet if you took an informal poll in this place right now and you asked people, I gave you $1,000, would you put it under your pillow, put it in your local bank, give it back to the government to invest, or give it to a financial advisor? You're better off putting it under your pillow where you can at least see it than giving it back to the government. Nobody believes the government. Nobody believes Uncle Sam, the big brother.
But the point here is that whether, you know, Wall Street sometimes, you know, gets too creative and takes advantage of your poor Main Street investor.
But, you know,
I think that's unfair because these people bought houses they could not afford. I mean, Julie, if you go out tonight and you spend $10,000 on a credit card and you make $8,000 a year, you could do the math. So people bought houses they couldn't afford. They know that. This country spends money like a bunch of pigs. They buy things they say that they need, that they need when they actually want them. That's their business, but they should be in charge of their own economic
But let me just say this.
policy.
You're talking about 1994. Look, Bill Clinton presided over the largest post-war expansion in the nation. And the problem is, the problem for the Republicans, well, this war is not the reason. This war, we're spending, mismanaging the war and the finances of that to begin with, but that's not why we're in a recession right now. The problem that we're about to be in a recession. Ask Goldman Sachs. Oh, don't be more Catholic than the Pope. Even Goldman Sachs admits we're in the beginning of a recession.
Goldman Sachs just had the biggest bonus year in the
Goldman
history
Sachs
of
was
the
the only ones
financial
who were right about the subprime mess, so I'm going to take their word for it.
Where it seems
but
to
I'm
be,
going to
let me just
finish.
$250 per worker.
Let me just finish my point. Let me finish my point,
and then
which
we'll
is
move on.
exactly the fact that you've got the Republicans who are presiding, I think, over collapse of this economy. You might disagree with me, but Bill Clinton, after he raised the marginal interest rates or tax rates, actually presided over a huge expansion of the economy. You can't say the voters don't respond to that. They resoundingly reelected him in 1996 based on his management of the economy.
Well, Bill Clinton, right. But who's in charge of the Congress right now? Who could be initiating all these plans? Barney Frank writes an op-ed, but fritters away an opportunity for an entire year to introduce any type of legislation.
But what about now they're investing investigating, Kellyanne, some of the, when Wall Street repackages these loans, and whether that they were, there was the Chinese wall that supposedly should exist between different departments in investment banks. They were basically saying, hey, we're going to do a merger deal on this company, and here's the information, start buying stocks. And, there needs to be some regulation.
That's different, of course. Oh, my goodness.
No, it just points to the fact that there needs to be some regulation to protect investors who are privileged to all this inside information, whether it be housing or stock trades.
There's a difference, I think, Rebecca, in terms of using regulation to make sure that, not to use regulation to make sure that we all end up with the same thing. The argument that Congressman Frank is making, as I read the FT today, and I think that Julie's echoing this evening, is use more government intervention to equalize. He's talking about let's fix that income inequality by getting government intervention, and that's just crazy. In fact, the median income increased by 0.7 tenths of a percentage point. I mean, that's the middle class in this country is many people are struggling in places like Michigan, there's no question. But the middle class in this country is much wealthier than it was 10 years ago.
Actually, you've got the biggest income disparity since 1920 in this country. And I think what Congressman Frank is saying, and I certainly agree with him, is that we need to raise everybody up. We cannot continue to make the rich richer while the poor are being made poorer. We've got, no, absolutely not. We've got to make, well, if the problem is it is the government's job, because it's the government that's going to have to deal with all these people who are unemployed, who have to pay, the economy is suffering because of unemployment, and the unemployment is growing, and it's certainly growing in places like Michigan, where it's 7%. It's growing for the first time in a long time nationally. And of course, it's everybody's problem, because you can't continue to have the largest income disparity in the nation.
Ladies, thank you very much for an interesting topic, interesting debate. And on tap next, the biz of show business her father created, the Sundance Film Festival, which kicks off this week. Amy Redford is debuting her own movie, and she's on tap on Happy Hour next.